I sent you on the 6th.
Right.
Yeah, we're going.
Crack on, Sam.
Yeah, once upon a time there was a young boy who was being followed. The next day, the young boy went on an adventure. He jumped over and defended off the tiger. This was unbelievable how the young boy was able to defend off the tiger. The next day, the young boy was still on the run. Suddenly, as the night began to dawn, the young boy was in the middle of nowhere. Suddenly, the young boy's parents were concerned for the young boy. He was in the Amazon jungle in Rio. The next day, the young boy, who was aged 18, who was named as Marcus Wilkins. The next day, he fell down a cave, but he managed to get out of the cave. Thankfully, using all his experience, he crawled out of the cave. The next day, the young boy, he would fly back to England. He would fly back to Birmingham, where his family lived. The following day, he went for a job interview at Walkabout in Birmingham. Marcus Wilkins, he didn't have much experience as bar staff. He was against some other people, but one thing Marcus Wilkins has the advantage on is he's very good at maths. The next day he went to college. However, his teacher wasn't being fair with him. They disciplined him for no reason. Yeah. This teacher was out of the debt. Later that day, the boy went and spoke to the head teacher and made a complaint about his teacher's conduct. The teacher had a meeting with the head teacher, and the head teacher would give the teacher a warning for how the way the teacher behaved towards the young boy. The next day, the boy would go to the shops when some teenagers approached the young boy. However, the young boy tried to walk away from them, but they were not having any of it. The next day, the teenagers went clubbing in Birmingham when they bumped into the young boy again. So he moved away from the teenagers. Suddenly, these teenagers started to get very bossy towards the young boy. However, the teenagers will get escorted out. The teenagers will go to prison. The teenagers who were named Anthony O. Matthews, Dale O. Phillips, John O. Anson, Ben Thomas, Marvin O. Scott, who were from the Wolverhampton area, all spoke with Wolverhampton accents. The next day, the young boy went to court. Judge Charles Johnson wanted to hear the evidence from both sides. The teenagers feel they did nothing wrong, where the teenager remembers everything what happened. These teenagers were at the same school as Marcus Wilkins. This was Target. The teenagers dealt like Marcus Wilkins. He told the court that the teenagers, they followed him around and they would annoy him when he was having his lunch. The teenagers, they told the court that Marcus Wilkins is making things up. Marcus Wilkins confronted the teenagers and said to them that what they were saying was not true. He told the judge that he didn't know who they were and they didn't go to his school. The next day, the judge Charles Johnson, he adjourned the court for the day. Judge Charles Johnson, he wanted more time. Judge Charles Johnson wanted to think things through. He wanted to sleep on it. And then he wanted to call them back tomorrow before he would make his decision. Later that evening, the young boy, he received a phone call on his phone. It was the manager of Walkabout. He decided to offer Marcus Wilkins the job, but he said to him he would offer him the job of a glass collector, and then he would train him up to do bar work. The next day, Marcus Wilkins wanted to think it over. Marcus Wilkins wanted to speak to his family before he would contact the manager of Walkabout, Scott Daniels. The following day, Marcus Wilkins made his decision. Marcus Wilkins spoke to Scott Daniels. He accepted the job. He was happy that he would get trained up to work as bar staff. He knew that he needed more experience. Later that evening, he arrived to Walkabout to start his first shift. He would work until 2 a.m. in the morning. The next day, he arrived back in court with the teenagers. Judge Charles Johnson made his decision. He decided to give them 30 years in prison because they were saying not nice things to the young boy. The next day, he met his idol, Dan Evans. Later that evening, he went out for a pint to drink with his friends at the pub. After he had been to the pub with his friends, he decided he would go home. Go back, and the next day he went in the car with his mum and dad. They would go to Aldi. When they went to Aldi, they saw a car which was speeding. Suddenly the car overtook them and the driver was causing real disorder. They were on the phone while they were driving. Later that evening, they decided they would go out for food at the Toby Carvery. They gave really good service. The staff at the Toby Carvery were being really friendly. However, there were a gang of youths who arrived at the Toby Carvery. They were causing real disorder to the staff who worked at the Toby Carvery. The next day, the young boy went to school when suddenly it exploded into life. The young boy was being targeted by some youths. This exploded into life. These youths, they lost control. The next day, the young boy had to be rushed to the hospital. He was badly injured after the events of what had happened that evening. These youths just lost it. They did it for no reason. reason. The next day.